Hi, good evening from here. You're welcome to Opinion Sharers. My name is Paul, and tonight we're we promised we'll be here last week, but we couldn't come here because it was the Village Voice celebration. Uh, Village Boy was officially celebrated and declared a PhD holder yesterday, so we had to celebrate with him. So congratulations to him once again. Tonight, we're going to be talking about something that I consider important. Um, the last part of it is that we're going to be waiting on Tosin. He will be joining us. He's on his way in Dubai. He's on the street in Dubai, but he will be joining us soon to give us an update about the work permit ban for Nigerians in the UAE. But the first leg of the discussion would be capitalism and monopoly of production in Nigeria as it impact or affect the ordinary people. But before we do that, let's quickly grab the link and share. Share, please. Do help us share the link so that we can invite people who might be interested in the topic to join us for this, uh, what I consider an important discussion. Please grab the link and share. Let's do that in few seconds. Then we come back and take it on from there. Okay, Village Boy already share it. Trying to see. Please share the link. Help us share the link. Let's invite people. Share it in groups where you know there are people who might be interested in the discussion. Uh, the issue of capitalism and monopoly of production in Nigeria, and then an update about the UAE work permit. So if you have a group where you know that people in that group would be interested in the discussion, please share it with them. Share it in that group. Thank you for those who are already sharing. We are grateful to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm also trying to do the same now to share it in some groups where there are people who might be interested in the topic. So I'm going to take a few more seconds, perhaps, just to share it so that it's not just us talking to ourselves. Yeah, do that one more. Thank you to those who are already sharing. And for those who are watching us, please exercise some patience. We'll get into the discussion proper in a few seconds. Okay, I think I should share it in one more place. Okay. All right, welcome back. It's Opinion Sharers. Opinion Sharer is a platform that was created deliberately to give opportunity for ordinary people, everyday people like us, to be able to share our opinion about what is happening in our society, especially in our beloved country and Africa. Yesterday, somebody was in touch with me. Somebody from Kenya was talking with me and was looking for opportunity for us to collaborate. They also have a platform that they're sharing opinions and talking about such topics. So they are willing to collaborate with us, looking for how we can share idea and work together. So this is what Opinion Sharers is all about. If you have opinion you want to share, you have an idea you want to discuss, you think people should hear about, please get in touch with us. We are willing to engage you. And if you want to be a guest on this show, please get in touch with us. You can, send us an email via the email that is sliding on the screen, or the one that's on our page, on our Facebook page, especially on Instagram. We will respond to you. Thank you very much. So without wasting much time, let's get into the discussion. I would ask the village boy to please help us do an intro into the concept of capitalism and monopoly in a layman language, such that everybody who might be watching this and those who will watch it later would have an understanding of it. Thank you, the village boy.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for celebrating me yesterday and for shifting the discussion to today. I do appreciate that. Yeah, when you talk of capitalism and monopoly of production in layman language, you are talking about market driven system of production where demand and supply is a major factor in which responsible for the pricing of goods and services. The higher the demand, the and the lower the supply. If people are asking for more than is produced, then the prices go up. And of course, the other side of the coin is when you talk of monopoly, is where a particular person or group of people try to control the supply and the demand, so such that they also determine the price which people pay for goods and services. So in which case the consumers, which is the buyer, has no uh, control over the pricing. So it is the prices that the monopolies want to charge, that they charge for the goods and services. And of course, when you talk of monopoly, it kind of negates the the value of goods and services. But when you talk of terms of value, actually in terms of paying for service or goods, is an exchange of value whereby the buyer think is getting value for the money is paying for the goods or the services is enjoying. But where there is a people or a group of people that control this so much that the buyer has to pay what he has to pay, whether he's getting the desired value or not from the goods or services, then we talk of a situation where there's a monopoly, in which case the seller's market. So another language, okay, it's the seller that determines what the value and what people should pay for it. And where, of course, when they create a kind of scarcity whereby people scramble for the same good for a particular good or services, so the buyer, I mean the seller now, determines what to charge for that good or for that services. Then we talk of a monopoly situation whereby the buyer doesn't have any choice than to buy from that particular person or group of person. Then that is a monopoly situation. I know it's a difficult thing to explain this in layman language. I hope I've tried a bit to do that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I know I probably given you a difficult job, but I know you are capable. Thank you, Mr. Onokwe. He said good evening to all. Thank you. Good evening to you too. Uh, Thank you for that intro. I would want Michael to enlighten us about a particular bill that whether it has become policy now, I'm not sure. That is regarding oil exportation in Nigeria. Don't forget that oil is the major source of income in Nigeria for Nigeria right now. Apart from other sources of income, but at least we know that's our main. It's like our bread and butter. So, but I know I learned of a particular bill. Michael, are you aware of it? Please, if you are, can you please enlighten us?
Yeah, good evening, our viewers, and let me join my words to that of Mr. Paul to congratulate our one and only village boy. Congratulations. Thank you for creating problem for us. We are running half time. Yeah, that by the way. Thank you so much. I thought I was going to do a very in-depth analysis to the subject matter, but I wouldn't want to do cause confusion on this issue. But one thing we should know is this: that there has been a lot of controversy around the issue of fuel subsidy in Nigeria for decades. And in the last couple of months, let me say, beginning from this administration, when the Ninth National Assembly came on board, they have made a lot of promises to actually look into the oil and gas sector of the country. And by and large, there was a lot of back and forth here and there. And at the end of the day, after several efforts and consultations here and there, we ended up coming up with the PIA. It used to be called PIB, Petroleum Industry Governance B. But now it is PIA because it has become an act of the parliament and because it has gained the consideration from both Senate and House of Reps, and of course, it has gotten presidential assent. Having said that, there are still a lot of controversies around all of these, and I'm trying to look at it from the angle of the fuel subsidy that we have been talking about in the country. I think very recently, the Minister of Finance recently engaged the National Assembly, and the issue around the fuel subsidy came up, where in which the federal government made a position known that the fuel subsidy will be removed. That should be in February. But it has been heavily contested. There has been a lot of uproar around all of this. And I'm just trying to touch on some issues and then come back home. And just yesterday, we heard that the price of oil in the international market has risen up to about, relatively, let me say approximately $90 per barrel. What has all of this to do in this discussion? And sorry again, just last week, Wednesday or Thursday thereabout, the House of Representatives also constituted a committee to look into the fuel subsidy issue with concentration on the volume of petroleum products, that's a PMS, that we consume in the nation per day. And another committee was constituted to actually determine the state of refineries in Nigeria. So all of these that I've listed, they are issues emanating from the recently passed PIB, which has become an act of the parliament. But yet we have achieved that height, and I think as a person, I would love to commend the federal government under the leadership of uh, President Muhammadu Buhari and the leadership of the National Assembly for achieving that feat. But that is not enough. We are trying to understand, as a nation, we really don't understand the volume of petroleum resources, petroleum products we consume in a day. Yet, we actually export our petroleum products for refining outside of the country. But it is something that calls for worry. That despite the fact that Nigeria claims to be oil producing state per Africa, we can still not make bold to say that, okay, we have a functioning refinery. We have one in Kaduna. There's one in Rivers, in Port Harcourt, and I think, sorry, I lost count of other locations. But what we are trying to say in essence is this: despite all of this, because
We have in
all of
worry
these
too.
items we have in worry,
Worry.
thank you, sir. So all of these controversies, let me use the word worry. Yeah, thank you, sir. All of these controversies led to, okay, we want to look into the issue around the petroleum industry. But despite all of these efforts, it appears that there are still so many things unclear to us as Nigerians. I was listening to an analysis yesterday about now the increase in the price of barrel per day, and it tells us that now that barrel is going up in the international market, which therefore means that the cost of production in Nigeria for us, the cost of production rather in the international market will go up, which equally calls for worry that, okay, if the fuel subsidy is being removed, because we are made to understand that the landing cost is around the 300, over 300 naira, which therefore means the Nigerian government is subsidizing the petroleum product by over 200 naira. So now we are going to ask ourselves question: what happens to the volume of oil we produce per day? Two, what happens to the refineries that money has been spent upon over and over and over again? Then again, we ask ourselves questions: why is it that this has become a controversial issue since only God knows? Now, another thing I think we should also critically examine is what are the political and economic what is the political and economic implication of this on us as a nation, particularly the common people that I represent and everyone on this platform represent. So having laid this foundation, now what is going to be the effectiveness of this bill? It is still causing controversy because it appears the house is in disarray. And when I say the house now, I mean the parliament is in disarray about the subject matter. But as the week goes by, we definitely understand the effort that the committee that has been constituted is making in actually addressing all of this issue. But it is a shame, permit me to use that language, that as a nation that claims to be oil producing state, and I think I will subscribe to Village Boy in this direction, that Nigeria is not an oil producing state. We are only exporting oil. We are not producing. Yes, we may claim we have them in the volume in abundance, but what becomes of us if over 200 million population still depend on external products? Because we have a lot of buy and selling is taking place, and which therefore means what we are selling, we end up buying more than possibly what we are selling to the nations where we have all of these raw resources refined. I hope we have the conversation I mean, as time goes by. But with this and a few points I've made, I believe that can lead us into, that can lead the introduction to the monopoly that we are about to experience in Nigeria oil and gas sector. Thank you.
All right, Michael, thank you for that long analysis. Thank you. Now, there's something that I saw here that I wanted to read to us. I think this was published in one of the Nigerian news dailies, popular dailies, sometimes last year. It said on February 28th, that is 2021, the chief strategy officer of Dangote Group, Aliyu Suleiman, said that the importation right for petrol should be awarded only to licensed and active refineries in Nigeria. This demand was in his speech to members of the National Assembly's Joint Committee on the Petroleum Industry Bill, PIB, who paid a visit to the site of Dangote Refinery, which is under construction and slated to be soon finished. Now, from what I've heard on the street, I learned that it's like this bill now has been passed, and the right for importation belongs to only two organizations now, which is the Dangote Group and that of NNPC, which has always been in charge of it. At least I am also aware that the petroleum marketers have been fighting and challenging the right of NNPC to be the sole importer, but now it is only Dangote and NNPC on the basis that they have refinery in Nigeria. Now, I want Tunde to make an attempt to clarify this. Do you think this is actually good for Nigeria's economy? And when I'm talking about economy, I'm talking about the ordinary people, the ordinary Nigerian. Tunde, are you there?
Yeah, thank you so much. Let me first start again by congratulating our own village boy on his feet. Like Michael said, he has always been this pace setter, and we do our best to receive the challenge in good faith because it's also a very good thing. that we as well also work very hard to make sure that we only live up to that expectation so that we can be able to contribute our own impact in our lifetime. Once again, congratulations to him. And again, let me thank Mr. Paul for inviting me again. I think this happened to be my very first on this platform this year. So I will not be mincing word if I say Happy New Year to everyone on the platform. Having said that, the topic of discussion today is a very serious one in the sense that it borders around issues that concerns household. Although when a layman look at it from how the topic is being coined, you may be thinking that maybe it's one a particular research work or a thesis. But the fact is that it is an issue that is affecting down to the very household level and the very essence why Nigeria is still in the very state it is right now. Now, looking at the license given to very few individuals, the Dangote group and the NNPC, in terms of refining, the production and refining of crude oil in Nigeria. We all know that Nigeria economy is based on the crude oil. And first, before I continue, I would like to say that it is disheartening in the first place oil economy when other countries of the world are already moving on to a clean energy and they have started diversifying their economy on clean energy. And countries that have benefited over the years from the crude economy have been able to make use of the resources they get from the crude economy into other aspects of science and technology that can help their economy to stabilize on other aspects of life. So now trying to monopolize the license to production, the impact on household will be devastating in this way. Had it been we have a very strong institution of government and policies that are implemented, I will not say that it's not that are implementable. We have policies that we can implement, but the issue is that the people at the helms of our affairs are not willing to implement the existing policies and are not even making any attempt to implement the new ones that they are bringing on board, like the PIA that Michael just talked about. There are a whole lot of things within that act of the parliament that from one administration to the other, they may support it individually, but collectively they may not want to act on it because they know the implication for individual pockets. So now, when you give a license to just two people, what you are indirectly saying is that the output they'll be the one to define, to determine the amounts that they'll be selling the finished product to us as Nigerians. And again, is that though government keep claiming that they are paying subsidy for Nigerians on the products that we are getting, the truth of the matter still remains that government paying for subsidy doesn't mean that they love Nigerians. That is why they are paying for subsidy. They are paying for subsidy because they have an ulterior motive bordering around corruption, because it's also helping them in their own businesses. So now granting that license to Dangote Group, because whether they give it to NNPC or they didn't give it to NNPC, we know right from a long period that NNPC has been this major player, and that is why politicians cluster around NNPC and create mushroom companies to look for a way to siphon funds on the guise of NNPC. So NNPCs are always, they have always been in the show. But Dangote Group coming on board, one thing that I would love to say is that from the administration of President Jonathan down to this present administration, there has been this underlying interest from one government to the other. That interest is what we've not been able to pinpoint. But on the long run, I know that as things progresses, we will soon know that that interest is an ulterior motive, is a personal interest that may not be on the interest of Nigerians. So it will not be good on the long run for all of us because they will be the one determining the price of these petroleum products that the household will be getting them. And they can choose at will in as much they be able to meet up with those people who have given them the license, their own money, they've been able to give it to them. So the target has been met as far as the money has been remitted into the pocket, whether it enters into the pocket of government or not. The target has been met, and they will be able to increase the price of commodity at will, which will at the end of the day affect all of us, and most especially when the the minimum wage is not increasing, the living wage is not increasing. It means that we will have to suffer it as Nigerians. So for me, I will say it is not good enough. It should be a level playing field where if you merit it, you come for it, and it helps a healthy competition, whereas all of us will benefit from it. Let me stop there for now.
Thank you, Tunde. Uh, Village boy, if you pay attention to that statement that I read earlier about the staff of Dangote making demands on the National Assembly, that kind of audacity in front of cameras, uh, what does it mean? As I was preparing this a while ago, I ran into the concept of oligarchy. Anyway, Village boy, let me not preempt you, so please.
Well, when we talk of Dangote and, and his businesses, and we talk in terms of monopoly, we, at least all of us, are well informed enough that he has almost always enjoyed a kind of monopoly in virtually all the businesses. In short, I mean, when he came in, he was able to acquire monopoly in salt production and marketing. In cement, it has not been that easy because of you know he came to compete with giant like Lafarge. I mean, the old, which you used to call elephant cement of old those days. Those one have been around, but then you see the rate he was acquiring small cement factories. He almost pushed those one out of business. And because NLPC has become comatose, as we speak, none of the refinery that was supposed to be managed ostensibly by NLPC, none of them is working or functioning. And from what we heard or read, the refining capacity of Dangote refinery was actually a bit in excess of what is required, what is needed in Nigeria. So they already see themselves as monopolists, kind of. So I think it is that what they have enjoyed before, and the knowledge that the refinery by the government may not work, that may give them that kind of audacity. I want to also cast our mind back. When railway was crippled. I mean, I think Paul should be able to understand this very well. There is the word on the street that was Dangote that crippled it, because we see all his trailers all over the place. And that time I was making a presentation somewhere, and I said there's a simple solution to these things. And they asked me what is the solution. I said, okay, create a board of Nigerian Railway. Bring Dangote, bring Ekele Dilichuku as the board members, and give them mandate that railway must function in 2 years. So and announce it to the whole country that railway will function. Some people thought that it was a crazy idea, but I think I mean beyond the jokes rather, Dangote has enjoyed sizable level of monopoly in Nigeria if we are sad to ourselves, and that also that could have given that his director, who may actually be, it may be the voice of Jacob, I mean the voice of Jacob, the hand officer. It was what he was mandated to say. And you cannot be too sure that even the National Assembly men that came did not ask them to even demand for that as a justification to insert a clause in the law or in the bill. So there are a lot of games in all this. There are a lot of games in this. We know Nigeria political elites and business elites, those are the top. They play games with us. Unfortunately, that is it. Because we don't have informed, we don't have informed populists. We are just we are grumbling populists, grumbling masses, not informed masses. We are not a mass of people that demand their right, that demand accountability. We just grumble at the corner of our house and we find ourselves in when we a football watching center. We find ourselves tear our clothes and we allow government to have free day. So yeah, that is that. They we should not be surprised that a director will ask such is something. They've enjoyed it before in such production. So they were not able to enjoy it in cement production. So why not in, and now since NPC is not working anyway for years, even Baba Buhari claimed that all NPC will work 6 months after he assumed power. It's now 7 years, almost 7 years, and nothing is uh, they've not I learned Ghana refinery last year, 2020, 2021, did not produce a drop of anything. And they are spending billions of naira every year. They are even sending people abroad for training for not working. So that's another, that's another, that's another issue altogether. It's very annoying. It's very annoying. But the truth is that we should not be surprised that the director was asking such a question. Yeah, it's not a big deal to them. They've enjoyed it in the past. Why not now? I think the problem is lie with our government, who are not sincere with the people. Why should Nigeria ever be thinking of exporting finished petrol products? It is a shame, a collective shame of a nation that has oil in its backyard but cannot produce and have to even enacting law on how to export finished product. It's ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. In fact, it's beyond. It's something that people should be. We should all put our eyes, cover our eyes in shame.
Import.
Yeah, we should be ashamed because our nation. We are all collectively ashamed that. I mean, I mean, in the kids like animal to do the nyanje. So it's like you are holding the mortar where they are pounding the yam, and you cannot have pounded. You cannot. They will not serve you. It doesn't make sense. So you should, even the Bible says a laborer is the first partaker of his food. If you have oil and you cannot partake in his final products, it's shameful. So do you blame Dangote? No. There's a gap that the government created, and Dangote is only trying to fit into that gap. It's a shame that we are talking about who to give license to import finished products in a country that should be exporting finished product to other countries. It is ridiculous. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Our brothers in Dubai, sorry. I'm sure that some of you think maybe the reason we are on this show is to talk about the issue. But the truth is that we have always been here. We've always been here. It's just that this is an issue now and we are concerned. And that's why we talk about it all the time. So we are irregular. These faces you see here are a regular face on here. Way before this issue of work permit started. So we are going to discuss it, and you can see that Tosin is here now. But we care about Nigeria and Nigerians generally. We care about Africa. We care about people generally. So we are going to discuss it. Every issue that concerns people, that impact people's life, that's what we discuss on this show. And we discussed, since politics is also, many of us don't know how politics affect us. So that's why it is possible for somebody to say this is useless, or that you think this is wasting of time. We don't know that it is cause and effect. In fact, it started with politics. All that we are suffering now, those of us in UAE that suffering this, the problem started with politics. And until we fix that problem, we keep looking at the symptoms where we overlook the real problem. So it's you that does not understand the reason why we are here. I'm sorry if you don't. But don't worry, we are going to talk about it. And Tosin is here mainly to talk about that. But if you research very well, you find out that Tosin and all of us you see here, we've been here going to 2 years now. So, and we come every weekend like that. So we will still talk about the issue, but that's not the only thing. That's not the only thing we talk about. That's not the only reason we are here. Thank you for understanding. My next question will go to Tosin. And I know that Tosin represents the street. So I want to pick Tosin's opinion about how you think monopoly has affected the average person on the street. Look at the prices I saw a video, some weeks ago, and I shared with Tosin about the passion with which that guy was complaining about how the prices of cement in Nigeria is cheaper in some other. I mean, the prices of Nigerian cement is cheaper in some other African countries where they export it to, compared to Nigeria where it is produced. And the prices of other commodities also that you see on the street. So, Tosin, what do you think when you look at the issue of production of monopoly of productions in Nigeria as it affects the ordinary people on the street?
Thank you very much, and greetings to everyone on this platform, and to our viewers watching from home too. It's good to be back again. Talking about monopoly of production in Nigeria and how it affects everyday man, that's an average man on the street. A good example is what you have made mention of, how our own product that is produced in Nigeria, that's the raw material is gotten in Nigeria and is produced in Nigeria, and people are buying it more expensive. In particular, cement. People are buying more expensive. There's a news now that cement is going 5,000 plus, and CBN is the one complaining on people's behalf. Cement is 5,000 plus, so they are begging Dangote. So now monopolizing any business will only benefit the elite and make the masses suffer more. It is unfortunate that we have a set of leaders in Nigeria that do not care about the citizens. They don't, even when you complain, sometimes they don't care also. They just feel they don't care. Because if they truly care about their citizens, monopolizing most of the productions like cement, people now find it difficult to build house. If you go to sites, you find a lot of uncompleted building because the prices is becoming higher by the day. In the first, you have said something before I come in, that it is politics and government that determine most of the problems we have. Talking about those problems is just tackling the effect, and the effect. Well, now, what is the cause? People that are in government are not responsible, and because they are not responsible, makes their elite friend to now feed on we the masses, the people, the everyday people on the street. So now the cause and effect is that before now you will see people that are staying in rented apartment. Before you know it, they will just come and announce to you, to all the rest of the tenants, we are moving into our own site. To God just give us a place, so we are moving there. But such news is not trending again now, because to buy cement and other material for people is expensive. People cannot even feed themselves, talk more of buying cement. Until somebody that has not fed himself and his family will think of building house. So if the production now is open to member of the public, everybody, the price, there can be competition in the price, and competition, the market can be competitive, and people will buy themselves the ones that their power can carry. But now, as we are crying and we are at the mercy of one guy for rice, for sugar, for salt, for cement, for what again, for indomies and everything, they are giving him the right now to the Hoye. And that the National Assembly even have to bring up that into law. It's a shame to all of them. If they are in a sane world, countries that really know business, none of them should return. And that is why I get hungry, because our people are not concerned about what will bring change. That is politics. That is participation in politics. That is getting involved in politics. Why should, but people will just want to catch cruise. They just want to enjoy themselves for the meantime and throw away the sorrow. But no, our problem, what is the problem? The politicians, this set of people that make themselves lord over us, and only about less than 1,000 people just enslaving the rest 200,000. So if they are sitting down in the House of Assembly making laws to import fuel, why we have fuel in our country and we have refineries that are not working, and we cannot make law to fix those refineries, and the president is the minister of petroleum for over 6 years, and that industry is not fixed. I see my post today reminding me of 1 year ago. I said there is no need to criticize the president again. If Obasanjo comes as a farmer and revolutionized the poultry business, and we have a president that is a cattle rearer, and for over 5 years he cannot transform that business, and people, instead of revolutionizing that business and making people is tribe that are into that business to become richer and get them the latest equipment and impart them with latest knowledge on cattle rearing. If he cannot do all that, instead, that people are now being terrorists, then we should not expect more from him. I said in that post that it is it is useless to criticize him, that you can only criticize a living soul. But why I now felt, why do I now go back to criticizing him? And I remember that, oh, I make this post in January, February there's a flight ban, and June there's work permit ban. So I resume back. So now the root cause of our problem as everyday citizen of Nigeria and people on the street are the politician. Production of anything in Nigeria, apart from that, it is monopolized. They have left the country. Most of the factories we grew up to know in Lagos, Ilupeju, they are not there again. All the ones at Ota, they are not there again. All the ones everywhere, Answani, 5 Star, they are not there again. So apart from that, it is monopolized. The ones that people are doing individually also, they are forced out of business. So you can only imagine how an everyday Nigerian would be living. Sometimes some people ask, how Nigerians, how are you people coping? and you are still surviving. How are you doing it? That is why you see all shenanigans happening. 17-year-old kids can arrange how to kill their girlfriend because I, it is just crazy up there. And we just wish that the people, especially people on the street, because we have the power, the people on the street have the power to decide how the country will go. But where it is foolishness when people have the power, but they don't even know they have power and they are the mercy of their oppressor daily.
Thank you, Tosin. It is crazy, when you have power and you do not know that you have power, yet you are the mercy of your oppressor. Tosin is becoming a wordsmith now. Thank you. Village Boy and I were discussing a few days ago about the fact that we need to start, education. And I know that Tosin and Michael are also highly passionate about this. The need for us to sensitize people, especially, I mean, including those of us in the diaspora, because we have influence on our people that are back home. If you think what is happening in Nigeria in the House of Assembly does not affect you, we are just deceiving ourselves. I mean, now practically we are being the one that is suffering from it. 2 days ago, so I think it was Tosin that sent me a video, or I don't know. Somebody sent me a video in Canada, and the village boy has actually been talking very good about the immigration officers there. But suddenly, people traveled all over from places, spending money, and came to the embassy, and they was shot. It was
Well, point of correction, that video was before this current ambassador.
oh, okay,
It was before him.
all right.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for the correction. Then, you see, the point is just for us to know that whatever happens in Nigeria, it is our cup of tea, like Tosin's show. So, and we must treat it as such. We must contribute and participate. So soon we will be doing a lot of, education and sensitizing ourselves on the role that we can play. We cannot go to sleep. We cannot, because you have a job or you have a business, and then you say nothing concerns you. It's only a matter of time before it concerns you. Now, Michael, Tosin, please get ready. I think after this, you would give us an update as far what's happening in the UAE, and then we get ourselves ready to round up. Michael, looking at the line that is scrolling on the screen, the power and influence of oligarchy in Nigeria. Oligarchy is a form of power structure in which power rests in the hands of a few people. Do you see this? I have read somewhere where people are saying they can relate this back to the days of Lord Lugard in Nigeria, where it's only those few elites that from Britain and a few Nigerian elites that are controlling the situation, the processes of production in Nigeria. Has it been different, really, when you look at it? In history, what we read in history and what we are seeing today? Has there been much difference, Michael?
Thank you so much. And it's more like a coincidence that I just completed an article on democracy a couple of minutes ago before I joined the conversation, and I was like asking myself, like, of course, yes, I'm a democracy activist, and I live around it, but it has its own challenges too because of the power play around it. And I was now thinking, like, okay, the democracy itself, of course, is argued to be the best form of government so far, though with its limitations. But it is the government of the people as it is being defined. But looking at it from a structural point of view, democracy is like, when we look at it from the angle of structure, it's like a prison. I mean, rather, it's like a pyramid that we have several people at the base, but only very few at the top. And of course, this is not limited to Nigeria alone. It's peculiar to other economies, other democracies of the world, inclusive of the advanced ones. But we looking at it critically, what is it that is lacking, or what are the elements that is lacking? The It appears to me that the ball rolls back to the people because of the lack of participation, just like Mr. Tosin pointed out. It appears that in this part of the world we are not participating enough. And relating it to the time of Lord Lugard and all of those, we should not equally forget that these are men who came to trade in Africa, particularly in Nigeria. They came to make money, to actually establish their own democracy, the United Kingdom that we all are talking about today. And I think we have discussed about this over and over again. But that particular nature in the time of Lord Lugard was handed over, or rather was understudied by our own people here, and they made it, or rather, they derived pleasure in making it a lifestyle. And looking at the trajectory ever since then till now, 1914 and the succeeding government, the indigenous government, back to the time we returned to Fourth Republic, 1999 to the present date, the narrative has remained the same. And I doubt if the narrative is going to change. How do I mean? Because only selected few, or rather only privileged few, we only continue to see what is happening at the top, while most of us remain at the base of the pyramid. But are we helpless? I would say no. All we just need to do is to further conscientize ourselves, to further sensitize ourselves, and ask critical questions as it relates to our well-being. If we can continue to engage and ask critical questions, there is every possibility that we can reduce, let me use the word, we cannot take it away. We can reduce the strength that all of these people they have. We can reduce them, we can reduce the strength, bring them down a little, and we only have that opportunity every 4 years to reduce their strength. But what I will now posit is that how, I don't want to use the word sensible, how informed, let me use that language, how informed are we that the power actually in democracy rests, or rather is solely rested in the hand of the masses? How informed are we? You are informed, I am informed. But how about over 150 million, or let me just say 190 million Nigerians out there that really do not know that in democracy, power lies in the hand of the masses? We hope this trajectory will change with time, but how soon is what you and I will not be able to answer. But truthfully, the power of oligarchy is present everywhere, in politics, in business, in health sector. Just make mention, mention any sector whatsoever. We can see their hand visibly present everywhere. And we have people in the in the corridor of power that are doing the bidding, or rather serving the interest of all of these people that are daily mortgaging the destiny of Nigerians and Nigeria as a nation. We hope that will be smart enough to wrestle the power from them and make them feel that we are the owners, or rather the custodian of power. Thank you.
Thank you. I thought you were going to say we are the owners of Nigeria. I will say that must, because we've learned that there are some owners of Nigeria other than us.
Obviously, so, Daily Momodu made us understand that.
Okay, Tosin, please give us an insight. And after that, I have thrown a question to the village boy to help us critique some features, basic features of open and mixed, and some even monopoly economies. And the village boy will give us, an idea on it. Tosin.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good evening again, friends. Uh, Update on the work permit issue. Before I will dive into that, there's a comment I want to attend to here. Mr. Jeff, he said he wants us to talk about the updates of the work permit, and say we are here discussing Nigerian problem. and that people are good in analyzing the problem and all that. Mr. Jeff, if you are still watching, we are not here only discussing about Nigerian problem. If you have watched very well and you are not just watching some part of this show, you would know that we are discussing solution also. In some submission here tonight, we have asked people to participate in politics, and that is the solution. You also, we want you to participate in politics. That is the solution. Most of us that are discussing here, we have a PVC and we are active in politics and voters. Even I'm not in Nigeria, I still have my own PVC too. Do you have your own PVC, and are you encouraging people to get theirs also and to vote right? So we are not here just discussing problem, we are discussing solution also. Uh, Talking about the update, this this week, there was some big announcement and much more updates. That weekly update cannot be enough. We started daily update, and the turnout has been massive. And thanks to people watching that. Even yesterday we didn't have the show, and people start sending inbox, what happened, what's the update today, why are you guys not online? So now there's some big announcement. The big announcement is that during the course of the week, Emirates Airline UAE lifted ban on Nigeria and some other 11 countries. And 24 hours after lifting this ban, Emirates Airline confirmed that they mentioned five of these countries will be resuming on the 29th. That's 2 days after that announcement. In the comment section, it was on their verified Twitter handle. In the comment section, a Nigerian had asked them if Nigeria will, when they will resume back to Nigeria, and they replied him that they are still waiting for appropriate authority in Nigeria to give them approval. So while we're waiting for that, after 48 hours, there was a press release from FAN in Nigeria that truly Emirates Airline have submitted a letter to them informing them that they have lifted ban on Nigeria and some 11 other countries, but they will not honor that letter, that they want the government of UAE to deal with them on government to government level, that they don't deal with airline, they deal with government. And that is those are the major updates. We are surprised, though this has bring some mixed reaction. Some people have said that is the good thing for Nigeria to do that. Probably they are trying to bring the UAE to the roundtable discussion and how to discuss every other issue that Nigerians are passing through here. Well, I want to agree. I want to pray. I want to pretend to agree that that is true. At the same time, we cannot assume what Nigerian government are not saying, because even what they say, sometimes they don't keep to it. In my own opinion, as I've said earlier today, I will prefer that they allow Emirates to resume their flight, and after a week or 2 weeks, when they resume this flight and the work permit is not lifted, then they can bring Emirates to a discussion table. Now we can always learn from experience. Last year, and it's 2 years now, 2020 September, there's flight ban like this, and when it's lingered too much, there was work permit ban. Immediately the flight resumed, work permit also started. So they can let Emirates to resume, and by that time Emirates has business doing in Nigeria, so we have a stake also. But as I speak now, we don't even have any stake in this conversation. So the update now is that Nigerian government is waiting for UAE as a government to engage them in conversation that the work permit ban, that the flight ban is being lifted. They don't want just Emirates Airline of top official to just sending them letter. They want to receive letter from the government of UAE themselves. And in that article, he said once they receive that letter within a day to 2 days, they will honor it. So we are still waiting for them to get this letter. So for people that are asking, the work permit ban, till now the ban is still there. The permit is not given. People are not getting it. So everyone should keep speaking to compel Nigerian government to let Emirates fly to Nigeria.
Okay, Dawson, one question is this. Uh, I don't know. I mean, is it not normal for the Nigerian government to want to speak with the nation, I mean, country to country, rather than Emirates is an airline, it's a company, you know? So I'm a little bit confused. I don't know what to say. Maybe, because were they not in discussion with the UAE government? I mean, I
Regarding flight
don't know whether
ban,
you'll be able to answer the question.
regarding flight ban,
Yes, regarding flight ban and all these work permit related issues.
the
What
last
was the
time
last thing you heard from from the embassy?
regarding work permits, the Nigerian government at home, they have not said anything regarding work permits ever since. Some weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, there's a report in Punch and channels that the Foreign Affairs Ministry, they said, and the UAE are trying to turn around their policy for the next 50 years, and because of economy reason and their policy is changing, that is why work permit ban is there. But they cannot, they have just said that just to get something to say. They cannot expatiate that, because if if what they say is true, then it will not be only Nigeria that will be affected. So that is that regarding that. And regarding flight ban, Nigeria is not currently banning Emirates Airline. It is only Nigeria has lifted the ban on Emirates Airline. So it is only Emirates that banned Nigeria during the December, when COVID-19 number get increased. So as we speak now, Nigeria is not banning UAE or Emirates Airline. It is Emirates Airline that's banned Nigeria during the rise of COVID in the December rush. So now that the flight has been lifted, I don't know which communication again, because Nigeria is not banning Emirates. The Nigeria already lifted the ban on Emirates in December. So it was Emirates that banned Nigeria, or UAE that banned Nigeria and some other African country because of the rise in COVID. So the other 5 countries that resumed back their flights, how did they engage them? So I believe it is the same way they have engaged Nigeria that they have engaged these other 5 countries. I don't know if if the approach is different. I don't know about that. But I just pray that both country, both government will come together as soon as possible, address the issue that is between them. Nigerian government especially should consider our citizens that are having tough time here, and they should be in discussion with the UAE as soon as possible.
Okay, Dawson, thank you very much. I think Village Boy. I don't. Maybe Village Boy would have a little bit of experience about this thing, but I think maybe the Buhari government or some top government in Buhari government might perhaps be having issues with some officials of UAE government. I'm not sure, because it's a little bit becoming like two fighting. that's just from my own layman view of the situation,
Like
So,
ìjà orogún
and
méjì.
now, like, I can call it as wa lórí afẹ́fẹ́ pé, Village boy, please do share your opinion and then please answer that question that I have earlier asked.
Well, I think there was a time that the Nigeria government lifted the ban on Emirates that they can now fly, and there was an issue with earpiece, and the Emirate Nigeria, UAE government gave limited rights to earpiece. And because of that, the Nigerian government withdrew the permission earlier given to Emirates, Emirates Airline. Then there was a kind of conversation, and the UAE government reviewed the earpiece landing rights upward, and I think at that time Nigeria also restored the permission already given to Emirates. I think it was a choice of Emirates as at that time not to fly Nigerians because of COVID implication. So I think they made that choice by themselves. It was not as if they were not permitted to fly. I think they were permitted to fly after they have sorted the issue of earpiece. So I really don't know what the new issue is. If you are given right to fly and you did not fly, maybe they are writing that letter because people cannot book their flight through them. So in that case, they are more or less dealing with the customers. So I don't see how government should be involved in that, unless there's something I'm missing that in between that. But that's that by the that by that. So well, if it is a case of if it is not that case, of course I don't think an Emirate has a right to write to Nigeria government that they are resuming flight in Nigeria. I think that is beyond them. Uh, if there's an issue with the aviation authority, it should be between both governments. So I think there are some gray area there that I don't have for sufficient information to be able to give an informed opinion about that. So thank you. Yeah, some of your questions. One of the things about uh, monopoly is they have control over price, which I said earlier on. So and that is why in a regulated environment, one of the things that government tries to do is to ensure that no particular business has control over price, especially of essential products. And that is why government, like in advanced countries, that's why they subsidize things like agriculture that affect everybody. Food production subsidized in most advanced countries, so that they don't allow the farmers to charge arbitrary price and make life difficult for the people. So that is, I remember in those days before the military came in, we used to have control boards. Especially, we have cocoa control board um, in Nigeria then, in Western Nigeria then, that we, you know, create the price for cocoa export and all that. And of course, one of the fundamental of non-monopolistic economy is to create fair competition. But one of the things in the capitalism that is allowed for fair competition, whereby people can compete fairly. So where cost consumers, the buyers, are given freedom of choices. You can choose one product over the other. So those are the one of the major characteristics of a non-monopolistic environment. Yeah, nationalization is no longer too popular now because we are moving away from nationalization. We are in the era of privatization. At the point in time, government has to acquire almost everything, nationalize everything. But because we say government has no business to be in business, then we move on to almost 3 decades now. We have been talking right from the time of military. We've been talking about privatization. that what government should be concerned with is to create an enabling environment to make rules and regulations for the smooth running of business. And that is one of those things you have for is of doing business and all that. So nationalization is no longer popular now. It's more like old relics. So we not talk about yes, antitrust legislation. Antitrust legislation is also to create fair competition, whereby a particular company, because of size, does not, you know, does not crush other emerging businesses in the same industry. That is what antitrust legislation is, and that is why when National Assembly go to Dangote refinery, I think it is unthinkable that somebody will be, because they are supposed to be the body to be responsible for antitrust legislation. It's not the same body you'll be asking to give you a monopoly of a product. There's a contradiction there. There's a very big contradiction there. So the antitrust legislation is to ensure that a particular company or a group of company do not create a barrier by monopolizing prices of their products. You know, a group of people can also come together as a monopoly and determine what they will charge for their price. So thereby deny the people the fair competition, I mean, the freedom of choices. Because if remember it was almost happening in telecommunication before Global.com came. If you can rewind your before Global.com came, we were told that was no possibility to charge per second. In those days, they charged 15 naira per minute, and in the era of the days of 3310, you will hear coming back, because everybody is trying to rush that it doesn't speak more than 1 minute, because when it is 1 minute, 1 second, they will charge you 2 minutes. Then Global.com came and they said, and the per second billing started. And all other Econet then, as it was called, and MTN that said there was no room for per second billing. They started billing by per second again. So a group of companies can connive together to make the people. That is what Econet and MTN did that time. That is antitrust. So governments usually legislate a law that prevent that. But when Global.com came with the competition, because again it's indigenous, and they knew that they might lose businesses to Global.com, they had no choice to switch to per second billing too. So those are just practical examples of where you break down monopoly. Have I answered your question now?
Yes. Thank you. See, when you look at, because I've lived in India and lived in the UAE, I find out that when you go to the store, practically everything you buy in India has price on it. I know that India is practicing socialism and mixed economy, but virtually everything that you buy, unless maybe you go to the local guy that is selling on the road and buy tomato or pepper or vegetables, every other thing is labeled and priced. you know. And I've seen also a little bit of it in the UAE. Whatever you buy in the stores, they have prices, price tag. So it makes it difficult for prices to fluctuate unnecessarily. For you to buy, you see something here for 15 naira, and then when you go to another shop, they might say it's 16 or 20, as the case may be.
Well,
So
in here, what they do, that's what we call price match. For instance, if I buy a product here for $12, and I go to another store and I saw it for $10, and I take the evidence back to the former place that I bought it, they will not only give me my excess $2 back, they will give me something to compensate me. That's that's what they do here. So they will say that they do price match, because they don't, because if they don't do that, they know that next time you will not consider coming to their store. I think there is what is still important. What is the issue here, that we have weak institutions. We have unfortunately, beggarly politicians. They are oppressive, oh, but they are also beggarly. Because what they go when they go to all this stuff, I documented it in my new book. What they call this oversight function is that just avenue to make money, to literally go and beg for money. When they went to that Dangote something, if they will tell you the truth, did they not receive envelope after that meeting? Did they not? So those are the issues. We have weak institutions.
I remember
We don't have the culture of check and balances.
I remember when I was still in the railway. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this on air, but you know, when I was still in the railway, when your senior colleague or your boss comes to visit your station, you must not go empty-handed. It was a culture at that time, which was strange to me initially. And they posted me as a station master at the time when I was not my position, my so-called designation was not up to then, because I think you would be in level 8 before they post you as a station master, and I was just in level 7 when they posted me to be a station master. So when they come to my station, people, other junior colleagues, but who are older than me in the system, they'll be telling me that you have to find something for a girl, and I'll be wondering, where do
No,
I get something to
That's
find
African
for a guy?
hospitality.
Where do I find something to for a guy? Is it for my salary or from where?
From
You
petty
know,
cash.
but yeah, but petty cash, there's nothing like petty cash in railway.
Okay. You don't have
Anyway,
a press.
no, there wasn't anything like that. Maybe they were doing it at the senior level, but at that my level, nothing like that.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing is that you can rent out some places around your station and all of those things. But then I even saw them as illegal. It was difficult for me to operate all those systems. But that was how people were getting money and doing all manners of things in railway at that time. Anyway, before we go, Tosin, can you please give a little bit of a few minutes to give updates so that we can just close, just in case some people are just joining us. I know there are a lot of people that wants to hear about what's happening in the UAE, and we sympathize with them. We are also impacted. So just before we go now, just listen.
Yeah. Good evening, friends. The updates that is available for now is that UAE has lifted ban on Nigerian flight. Passengers from Nigeria can now come into UAE, and but they are still waiting for their flight approval from appropriate authority in Nigeria. They are waiting for their flight approval from appropriate authority, and an official among the appropriate authority have said that they truly have received letter uh, of that they want to resume operation back in Nigeria from the top official of Emirates Airline, but they want UAE as a government to interact with them, Nigeria, on government to government basis. So this is where we are stuck, and we are employing every Nigerian to that is affected or that sympathize with us to help us with a tweet. We have a hashtag we use. So help us with a tweet, maybe 5 daily, with the hashtag so that it can go viral. Probably we can call the attention of the Nigerian government to that. Hand Nigerians work permits ban in UAE. That is the hashtag. Because as we speak now, Emirates are willing to run the Nigerian uh, routine now. But Nigerian government said they are waiting for them to interact with Nigeria on government to
at
government
the governmental level.
in level. I don't know if that is Agiri Talaka, or some people say we are the giant of Africa and that is how it should be. But I felt when your citizens are suffering, you should do everything within your power to make sure that their suffering is ended as soon as possible. But what can we say about a government that a good number of citizens are going into poverty by seconds? So we employ Nigerian governments to stand up and be responsible to their responsibility, because as we speak, daily people are losing their job. Somebody will lose his or her job tomorrow. Somebody will get to work tomorrow, the first day of the week, and they will tell him, "We cannot renew you. Don't come from so time." Somebody some other people, their renewal is coming up very soon next month, and they will be told that don't come again. So people are losing their job. The number is getting increased by the day, and by now it should be loud enough in their ear. They should show concern. They should show concern. They should show concern. So till now, the ban is still there. People cannot get work permit. And for those that are in Nigeria and want to come to UAE to look for work, let us hold on for now. If you're in Nigeria and your motive of coming to Dubai, to UAE, is to look for work, wait for now. The only companies that are employing Nigerians for now are the free zone company. Although the free zone company are much, but we cannot compare their number to when every other company can employ us. So we want to employ people to wait for now. Let us observe how things is going, so that we will not come and increase the number of Nigerians that are here stranded already. A lot of people are here and getting their visa for themselves, feeding, house rents, and other expenses is choking them by the day. So don't come and put yourself also in difficult situation. You can just hold on for a while, and let's see the end of this issue.
Okay, Dustin, thank you very much. So, viewers, thank you for joining us again today. We've discussed the issue, and we'll be here again next week, hopefully on Saturday. We weren't here yesterday because we have to celebrate with the village boy. And
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
yeah, it's official. It's Dr. Bolu Tife now. And we'll be here again next week. We keep hoping that things will improve. Please follow Tosin closely. He keeps updating people on whatever happens, and I want people to know that on this platform we discuss all things Nigeria, all things Africa, all things that affect human beings generally across the world. So please bear with us if you think we are not discussing the issue of
We are not
work
peculiar
permit.
to only UAE pork permit. Even on
Yeah,
my page, I'm not peculiar to UAE work permit.
yeah. But anyway, we understand the situation, and thank you. Please, thank you for helping yourself and helping other people. Please reach out to some of the people you know might need help. Somebody might need a call. Please call them, check on them. If you have a family or a friend that might be impacted by this situation, please reach out to them. Ask about ask how they are doing, how they are coping. That might save somebody's life. So thank you very much. Let's continue to take care of ourselves and other people. Good night from all of us here at Opinion Sharers tonight. We'll be back next Saturday. Bye bye.